gamers, today we're going to be doing how to play Holy Roman Empire, aka HRE, in Season 10 and 11. If something changes in the Season 11 in the upcoming season, I will update the HRE guide. If you don't see an update, then this is still, in my opinion, the best way to play HRE then. So I'm going to be showing you two games. One game is going to be with Aachen Chapel, where I will be playing against French, and the second game will be Meinwork Pro Scouts. So I'm going to teach you a little bit of both and show you how to play both of the landmarks and both of the builds. Now, shout out to Beastyqt for helping me in a custom game. Now, what we're going to do is very simple, standard opening. We're going to go 3 on gold. Don't mind this sheep that I killed accidentally far away from my TC. You don't want to do that. So we're going to go 3 on gold, 3 on food, and we're going to rally onto the food till we have the age up and try to position your prelate somewhere around here so that you can inspire both gold villagers and food villagers. So it's pretty important to put your sheep where your gold is on start of the game, no matter what HRE build you're doing. So for example, if my gold was here, I would probably rotate, I would kill the first sheep here, but then the rest I would put here so that I can put prelate in between the gold and the sheep so that both get inspired, as you can see right here. Now, after the first 2-3 sheep, I already position my other sheep where I'm going to put my chapel, because I don't want all the sheep to be killed here, and then if I position chapel here, then it's not going to be under the inspiration buff. So right now we just want to age up as fast as we can. Now I do want to say something before we continue. I did not do any deer pushing for this guide, because I don't want to include deer pushing in every single guide that I do, because deer pushing is a difficult thing to do, and you guys might not know how to do it properly and so on. So I did not push any deer. I did not open barracks. Like if I played against French, I would probably open barracks with the Holy Roman Empire and maybe poke them on the gold, you know, maybe spread out their deer and stuff like that. But that's pretty like high level stuff, and I didn't want to include that. So if you are, I would say, diamond and up, or even lower, you can open barracks and then just continue the play style as usual, right? So if you're used to opening barracks against French or maybe JD or any civ that needs gold, you can still do that with both Chapel and Meinwork build that I'm going to be showing you. I just didn't want to include it in this because this is going to be a guide for basically almost any matchup. Now, when to go Chapel, when to go Meinwork. My suggestion is to try both in whatever matchup you are playing. I think you can do both in any matchup. Chapel is obviously a bit more defensive, while the Meinwork with pro scouting is a little bit more aggressive. You're trying to get map control and your units are stronger, but your economy is a little bit weaker. So you can do both. I would say the general rule is, if I had to pick something for you, I would say do the Chapel against aggressives and do the Meinwork against pro scouting civs or castle rushing civs, okay? I wouldn't suggest you to castle rush with HRE. I think maybe that's where a lot of the losses in lower leagues for HRE come from. People try to do a castle rush and they run out of food and then they die. So yeah, against aggressives, I would say go for Chapel, go for this style that I'm going to show you. If you play against pro scouting civ or castle rush civs or even 2TC civs, I would advise you to do the Meinwork build. But try both and see how it works for you. Now, the number one most important thing in these early stages is where to put your Chapel. Now, there's obviously a lot of discussion still to this day. If the spawn is good, do you put forward Chapel? Do you always put the Chapel in the back? Do you put it on the gold? Do you put it in the wood? And so on and so forth. You do not put Chapel on the gold, okay? Putting Chapel here is not worth it, because not only it is very exposed, the berries and the gold will be gone very quickly. And you will get way more value by putting Chapel on wood line, because you cover basically this much wood, and then you're going to cover this wood as well. That's going to get inspired and faster gather rate, and we're going to need a lot of wood for this build. So this game I actually found a lot of sheep. So I only kept 6 for myself, and I gave my opponent 14 sheep, because I wanted to show you that you don't actually need a lot of sheep to play this build. You're not dependent on how many sheep or how much food you find early on. Unlike if you do HRE Castle Rush, if you find 6 sheep, you're dead. With this build, like I said, I only took 6 sheep and I gave all the other sheep to the opponent, so he had 14, I had 6. Just to, you know, just to show you guys. Now, we're gonna be aging up with 4. And I put the chapel here because it's a very nice position, double wood line. It's not in the back, but it's kind of to the side / back, so it's a good spot. I'm gonna take 3 villagers from gold, or you can take 3 wood villagers, whichever is closer. I'm gonna get some stone so that I can upgrade my my tower with arrow slits, so I don't lose any villagers on my gold. And we're gonna build a lumber camp, and what we're going to do with the gold villagers, these guys, once they return to stone, I'm gonna just get eco upgrades one after the other. So yeah, we want to have 10 on wood. So basically you're gonna keep 3 on food as you're aging up. You're gonna put 3 on gold, 3 on food as you're aging up, and then you're going to rally onto wood until you have 10 villagers, okay? And you're gonna leave these guys pretty much forever on wood. You don't gotta think about it, just leave them there. And whenever you get excess wood, whenever you have like 7,500 wood that you don't need, just build a farm. That's how the build works. So this is how I used to play HRE in like 2022 when nobody was playing HRE, and it's just a very good style. You get a lot of food safe. The downside of this build is it takes a little bit to pick up, but if you're playing against aggressives, you're being on the defensive and they can't really do any damage, so that's why it's very good to do against aggressives specifically. So the moment chapel is done, we're gonna put the prelate inside. The reason we're building lumber camp is so we can get double broad axe. The tower is going up. We're gonna build a mill soon just so we can get those upgrades a little bit later. And once we have 10 on wood, like I said, we're going to rally onto the food. And I see this nice little wall off I can do, so I'm like, okay, let me do that. I'm gonna wall here too, just to kind of section off my map. And no matter which map you play, no matter how your resources spawn, you always want to use wood with this build early on to kind of secure parts of your resources. I'm even going to add a little wall here so that the knights cannot just go in and charge. It makes it a lot harder for the opponent to engage. So we see double broad axe is coming. Even though I'm not going to produce any archers, I am going to need a lot of farms, so it's a very good upgrade to get. We got mill, which we're going to get horticulture and wheelbarrow. Arrow slits we'll get in a moment. And right now you can see I have a lot of wood at 300, so I'm going to plant down a barracks. We got arrow slits going, and my goal is, for now, I make barracks. I saw that he's going knights, obviously, he's playing French, so I want to have spearmen. We're doing another wall here, and the next thing you want to do is check, because there's 2 styles with French. Either they're going to go mass knights or knight archer. If they're going mass knights, you make another barracks and maybe another barracks. If they're going archers, you will make stables, okay? So right now I had excess wood, which is what I was talking about earlier, and I'm just going to start doing the farms in the chapel range, which is very, very important, okay? This guy is almost finished with this side of the wall. This guy is walling here. So far the build is looking good. And now we just rally on food. So my whole goal right now is to not take damage while slowly booming my economy, getting the farms up, and while adding more and more production and making more and more units. So right now for him, there's nowhere to attack. He cannot attack the wood line. He can't attack here. Look, he's gonna try, but because there's a wall, he doesn't even attempt, because the knight would take massive amounts of damage and not kill anything. So again, we have 250 wood, so we're gonna add some more farms. We're gonna get an eco upgrade in a second. There's the wheelbarrow. You can also go horticulture first, by the way, with this. It's completely okay. And right now we can see archers are coming, and in a little bit I'm gonna see the archer. But it is very normal to have archers in this matchup, so you can just do blind stables if you want. Even if you scout that the opponent is only making knights, you can use the horsemen to harass their villagers around the map and just try to pick off stuff that is going around. So this is where I'm trying to move out with my scout. As you can see, he tries to engage the spearman, but he mistimes the against the brace. I end up killing a knight. I see the archers, so the stables can now fully go up. I don't need to cancel it or anything like that. And now I'm just fully producing spearmen. I'm gonna fully produce horsemen. My sheep are almost out. You can see I'm out of sheep at like 7:38 minutes, which is very bad, right? I'm adding blacksmith because I want to get +1 ranged armor against those archers. And if you ever get in a situation like this, so right now I have too much food, right? So I can't spend this food. I'm already producing horses, I'm producing spearmen, and I'm producing villagers, and I have too much food. What you can do is just take like 3 villagers from food and put them on wood, which will reduce your food count, increase your wood count, so you can go farms faster, okay? So you can just kind of balance the economy like that, or maybe you can add 2 more villagers on gold. It's completely up to you, but if you're having like too much food, just put a couple of villagers on a different resource. The farming is still happening, and right now I don't really need to push out. So your opponent should have better income if they're on tier at this point. He just arrived on tier, so his income is a bit scuffed, but it's about to pop off. So your opponent should have better income right now, but the more farms you put, not only the chapel is very obviously strong, your food income is going to be crazy good, but even more important is your opponent, the longer the game goes, is running out of food, while your food is income is just increasing over time, and your unit count. So when his food does run out, that's where your big timing is, and this is how it works with most of the early farm civilizations. Adding another farm. Now my sheep ran out. Usually your sheep are not going to run out this quickly, but because they ran out, I just put the villagers on wood. Now, could I have put them on the berries? I could, but then my villagers are exposed. If my berries were maybe here, I would just put those villagers that were on sheep on berries. But because the bears are forward, I said, you know what? I don't need food that badly. I have okay income, and by putting villagers on the wood, I'm just going to get that economy up even, or the farms even faster. Now the horsemen are coming. And now what you can do is, if you see that your opponent is not committing, I mean, he can't really commit, he can't do any damage, but if you see your opponent not committing, or he's just chilling, you can just take the horseman and go do a raid. And in this case, I do a raid on the deer, and I end up killing 4 villagers, I think. He kills 1 of mine on the gold, but that's already a pretty good trade for me, because we're same workers. He should be ahead because he's French. And I have chapel, so it's very, very good. I have barracks, I have another stables coming up. I have +1 melee attack because I'm going full melee units. Now, if he was going for spearmen as well, like let's say he starts adding spearmen, which he is, you have 2 options. Number 1 is age up and make men-at-arms, or number 2, either add your own archers or start producing your own men-at-arms. I would probably advise you to either go archers or a castle. Because if you just do men-at-arms, then his knights are gonna probably beat your ass. We have more production buildings. Now he tries to kind of go around. I see a potential timing here to do to catch his army, and that's exactly what happens. You can see I already have more units than him at 10 minutes. And from this point on, like I said, I'm just printing units. So because HRE infantry moves faster, I managed to get a good surround on the 3 knights. And at this point, at the high level, this game is over. This is 100% over. There's no coming back from this. But I told him, he asked, should I leave? And I said, just stay in the game to show people that transition out of this build. So you can see, I have 15 farms already under the chapel. And the moment you get a good engagement, you can do 2 things. If you get a good engage like this. Number 1 is to all in. So you fully produce, you counterattack, you make rams, and you all in. Or number 2, which is what I'm doing, I moved all the villagers from the wood, and I'm going to put them on the gold and on berries in order to age up. I'm adding some more farms, so now my farming eco is crazy good. In a second, with these farms finish, and I'm just gonna do a little age up while poking across the map. So I go around, the age up is coming, and now once again you have 2 options. Burgrave or Cathedral. Now Cathedral has always been the go-to for Holy Roman Empire, but there was a change a patch or 2 ago for Burgrave that infantry gains 50% charge damage. This is actually a pretty strong upgrade. So even though I'm not using Burger to all in my opponent, if I'm going to produce Mass Spearmen and Horsemen, you can't just go Burgrave for that buff, which is infantry gains 50% charge damage, because you can go Cathedral, but Burgrave will give you a lot more immediate kind of return, and especially if you're ahead, you can potentially end the game. So I'm gonna go Burgrave, and right now we're sending some villagers back on wood. I'm already producing men-at-arms because I'm aging up, so might as well start transitioning to that slowly. And the great thing about Burgrave is you keep up the tempo, you upgrade the veteran upgrade in 12 seconds, and you can just continue printing units like crazy. I'm upgrading my horsemen, and I can already go for the push again. Whereas sometimes if you go Cathedral, you kind of start defending, the opponent starts pressuring you, but with Burgrave, he can't really do that. So now the Spearman charge damage is also going to be higher. The man-at-arms charge damage is going to be higher. And this is very, very noticeable when whenever you're fighting, especially Spearmen versus Cavalry. You will notice quite a bit that your Spearmen and just units are doing a lot more damage charging. And because my army is pretty much whole infantry, I mean, they just do 50% bonus charge damage, which is very, very good. And again, because I'm going this comp, I don't need a lot of gold, so I don't need Cathedral necessarily. I catch some of the villagers at the top. I'm getting +2 ranged armor. And basically, once that kicks in, I'm getting the heavy maces. He's trying to do some intercepting, and now I can just dive under TC because I have Castle Man-at-Arms. And I can just end the game. So, there it is. Meanwhile, by the way, I have 1,400 food per minute. So with this food per minute, I can just print units out of the 2 barracks and Burgrave forever. So if I just keep going, if I just attack, he will run out of food, and then I win. Okay? Now, we're going to show you, or I'm going to show you the second game, which is going to be Meinwork, Pro Scouting. Now, I do want to say, you can go Pro Scouting into Chapel as well, by the way. It is very, very strong. Or you can go Pro Scouting into Meinwork. Like I said, try both, see what works for you. But if you're doing this early farm build, you definitely need Chapel. So Pro Scouting can be done with both landmarks. But if you're going to do this early or slow farm, early farm build, you definitely need Chapel because it's very dependent on it. Now, if you go Professional Scouts, like I'm going to show you this game, going Meinwork basically gives you a lot better units. It gives you no Chapel, so slightly worse economy, but you kind of want to play aggressive with it. If you want to do Pro Scouting, but you're more of a defensive player, then I would advise you to just do Pro Scouting with Chapel, because having Deer on Chapel is very good, and it allows for not only fast Castle, but fast Imperial age-ups as well. So again, I'm going to speed up past this initial stage. We're gonna do the same thing, except Meinwork is on the way. So I'm gonna go age up with 4, and I'm going to put, so we went 3 on food, 3 on gold. As I start aging up, I'm gonna put 4th villager on gold because we want to get Pro Scouting. And once again, we're gonna leave 3 on food and then rally onto the wood. This spawn was a bit weird with these like wood lines. I don't really know what happened. It's like both of our wood lines are like dented in. And one thing to note, make sure that your prelate is not on the side where you're building the landmark, because if that is the case, he's going to inspire the villagers that are building, and that's not going to help you very much because it doesn't do anything for them. So you can also send your prelates to inspire the gold villagers a couple of times just to make sure you have that. And once again, we're going to put a lot of workers on wood because we need to get Pro Scouting, we need to build stables, we need to build barracks, and we need to build an archer range. So we need a lot of wood, okay? Pro Scouting is already on the way. I was wondering why it's late, and then I realized I'm looking at his thing. I was like, wow, mine is really delayed, but I was looking at the wrong thing. And now because he's China, he can supervise and get that Pro Scouting super quick. We got stables up, we got 10 on wood, and we're gonna start producing scouts. But because we're playing against a Pro Scouting Civ, We are also going to add Spearman because he will either go Horseman or Pro Scouting himself. So we need to make Spearman to defend that. Now, this is a Pro Scout versus Pro Scout game, so you will see how it plays out. But if I was playing against aggressive, I would just respond with units according to what they have. So if I was playing against English, I would make probably maybe like 2 scouts and then into Horseman Archer. If I was playing against French, I would go a couple of scouts into like maybe even double barracks plus horsemen like last game. Or if I was playing against a 2TC Civ, you have 2 options. One is to just go for a Giga all-in with Rams, and number 2, you actually just keep making scouts and you just go for fast castle or even fast imperial. So you just don't really make any units. So that is completely dependent on what your opponent is playing and what your opponent is doing. So you can see barracks is coming up, spearmen are coming up, archer range is coming up, and right now what I want to do, get survival techniques, I want to get double broadaxe, which I already did. You want to get wheelbarrow, and eventually you want to get the Meinwork Palace upgrades. Now, the reason you're full producing units here is if you don't, and you're playing against a Pro Scouting Civ as well, he will just take your deer, or he's just gonna go for a greedy age up. So by making units, you prevent them from Pro Scouting and preventing them from being super greedy and skipping all the units. So you can see second archer range is coming. I'm adding more and more production because the deer economy is going to be very good. So I want to make sure I have enough production buildings to keep up with that. He's doing the same thing, as you can see, which is very normal. We're both Pro Scouting our own deer packs. So what is my goal now? Well, in this specific case, I'm just looking to fight. He's looking to fight. We're both producing units, and I can't really go for fast age up because now we're kind of stuck into this fighting game, right? If I was playing against a 2TC Civ or fast castle Civ, I would just go for fast age up and try to get relics. So now you just make counter units to what he's doing. If he has archers, you make horsemen. If he has spearmen, you make archers. If he has horsemen, you make spearmen. Now, if you're maybe a lower league and you don't want to make this many different types of units, a very good comp to go for is just a lot of men-at-arms and archers. So that only leaves you 2 units to micro, which is something you can do as well, and it's completely okay to do so. So now we're gonna just be fighting around, and the goal with Meinwork, by the way, if you're wondering, well, why did you go Meinwork? You're not really getting any upgrades, you didn't even get this. I could have gotten this, but I only have 7 spearmen. Because we were kind of fighting the whole time, right? So I didn't really get to get the upgrade and get full value out of it. I only had I only have 2 horsemen and 7 spearmen at a time. I'm already making men-at-arms, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna commit to a lot of spearmen, a lot of horsemen. I'm just gonna start making some men-at-arms archer, and I'm gonna start to look for an age up instead. But this upgrade is very strong in these kinds of games, because having +2 damage on your spearman and horseman is incredibly good upgrade. And of course, once you go castle, this upgrade gives your knights and black riders +2 melee and ranged armor, which is very strong. Especially if you're doing like those knights versus knights battles. So we're still got 10 on wood. One thing that I forgot to mention, after I got 2 eco upgrades, so after I got Pro Scout, Survival Techniques, and Double Broadaxe, I actually made another prelate. So you can see I have 2 prelates, which is something that you can do. I could have even added a 3rd prelate right now. Having a prelate on like deer villagers or even gold or wood villagers is 100% worth it, even if you're making it out of your town center. So if that's something that you want to do, you can. But obviously you have to make sure that prelates are near a resource and you have to move them when you move your villagers. Otherwise, it's better to just make villagers. So now we're going to do another fight here. And even though he's getting on top of my archers are a little bit, the men-at-arms are tanking quite a bit. You can see I have more units and the trades are already going my way. I'm checking his gold to see if he's trying to age up or not. Now, because he's playing China, he's got a crap ton of gold, even though he's not mining it. That's China is a good civ. But you can see I'm also already almost at the age up too. So I'm just making my way there right now. I added a lot more workers onto the gold, so I'm going to be looking for that. He engages me here, and I've been saving resources to age up, so I'm just going to try to fight it out because I don't have another option. And you can see now with 7 men-at-arms, even though this looks pretty grim for me, the men-at-arms are doing a lot of work and they're doing a lot of tanking. So, yeah. Now, why am I not going Burger here? Burger, in my opinion, is a lot better because of the bonus charge damage upgrade if you have really good economy already set up. So if I had farms already set up, I think Burger would be great here. But because I'm going for pro scouting, thank you, Riddler, for a raid. I hope you had a good stream. Thank you. Because I am going with pro scouting, and because my deer are almost running out, so I need to now go on berries and stuff like that. My villagers will be moving back and forth. I prefer to go regnets to kind of pick up your economy a little bit, right? To boost your economy so that you can actually produce units out of the production buildings you already have. Not to mention, I already have a good amount of production buildings, so Burgrave will not add something crazy. I only have 7 men-at-arms and 5 spearmen. And I also will be adding knights and more archers. So I'm kind of thinking to transition into knight archer comp. So the Burgrave there will not help me too much. So in this case, I prefer cathedral. At the same time, I already have 2 prelates because I went Meinwork. And I might even, I could just make another prelate from TC and pick up like 2-3 relics immediately, right? Right now, I'm just waiting for my age up. And yeah, you can see he's securing the boar over there. I'm doing a little push. I have just aged up, and now I can just decide whatever comp I want to do. I need to go get relics. That's number 1 thing, to get the relics and to escort them back home. You can see my eco right now is a bit worse, so I need to be careful with my army. And this is kind of the downside of Meinwork and pro scouting style, I guess, is your economy is really good, but when you run out of deer, when you run out of that initial economy boom, your army becomes a lot more valuable, and you gotta pick and choose your fights a lot better. So what Regnets allows you is to not need to mine gold. So if you get like 2-3 relics, you don't even need to mine gold, and you can take all these guys and put them either on food or put them on wood to boost that eco, and then slowly go for farms. So I'm getting the archer upgrade, I'm getting the ranged armor upgrade, and I'm going to start producing knights. I made another stable. Now, the reason I'm not upgrading men-at-arms is my economy is not that great, and I'm not going to continue making too many men-at-arms or spearmen, so I'm just fully committing to knights. The relics are now coming in. I have 4 prelates, which are not only going to be good for the relics, but also to inspire the villagers after. Right for +2 range attack. I could have probably upgraded my men-at-arms here, to be fair, because I have 7 on them. And you can see the way the timing works out. He's slightly delayed on the age up because I had some better fights early on. And right now, I'm doing the dive. He's losing some villagers. I'm getting the relics at the same time. The knight production is starting. And I think in a second here, I start my steel barding upgrade, which makes knights so tanky. So at this point, I see that his army is not here. His horsemen were at the top, and his archers were at the bottom. So I just continue diving. Even if I lose all these units, but I kill a lot of his villagers, I'm going to be in a really good spot. So I just continue to dive. I idle all his eco. And he kind of wants to wait for the upgrades to finish before fighting. But because he has idle time, he actually cannot get any upgrades. So he just ends up losing a lot of units. And now Archer Knight is obviously going to be a very good comp. And HRE Archers are very good because of the movement speed that HRE has for their infantry. So they're very fast and very good to kite with. Now, at this point, I'm going around the map to get some more food, but I can also start transitioning into farms slowly. You can see how much gold I have, even though I am not mining any gold right now. So the game is looking pretty over. I killed 20 villagers. Like I said, even if I lost this whole army, I will still win the game. I'm gonna get the boar. I'm gonna get this relic. And right now I have 3 relics, soon to get the 4th one too. So it's looking very, very good. And now the knights are coming in and they have 8 ranged armor. So these guys are going to be super, super tanky, allowing my archers to basically kill everything else. And that's it. He taps out. So I would say if you're maybe newer to HRE or lower league or you know, beginner in general, I would probably say go for the first build with the chapel. I think it's a lot easier to do, a lot easier to execute. The second one is obviously if you want to play HRE more aggro, more active on the map, but both are very, very good. And yeah, like I said, even pro scouting with chapel is very, very strong. You don't need Meinwork. I just wanted to show you guys how to do both. And that's going to be it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now. And if you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.